First of all, just tell me what happened.
So I was just going on a nice morning hike. It was real pretty. Just wanted to go on a walk. And as I'm walking back to my car, I just feel somebody kind of bump into me from the back. It feels like maybe they were like holding a stick or something and bumped into me. I couldn't really tell what was going on. Um, and then I saw this guy uh, in kind of raggedy clothes with a backpack, and he turns to me. Uh, and I see that he's holding like a stick in his hand. I can't really make out what it is. So I just kind of put my hands up. I'm just like, hey, I don't know who you think because I had like a hood on and a big jacket. I didn't know if he confused me for somebody else or something. So I just want to be clear, hey, I don't have any idea who you are. We don't have any beef or anything. Um, but then I realize it's a machete as he uh tries to hit me with it again, and I reach my hand out and it cuts uh deep into my hand, and I that's when it got pretty scary. I tried to turn and run, but I realized when I felt that hit in the back, he'd cut me from behind. Um and I lost my balance and I fell, and so he just runs up to me and starts hitting me while I'm down, and uh I just keep trying to uh stop it from hitting my face, from hitting my chest. So I got a lot of cuts on my arms. I got up and I ran again. Um, but this time I fell again, and I it could barely move. I felt so like everything got dizzy and blurry. So I'm there on the ground on this grassy field, and there are a bunch of people around, kind of screaming. They don't really know what to do, and he gets up and he's over me and he just keeps swinging at me. So I'm just kind of rolling around on the ground, trying not to get hit the best I can. But at this point, my hands they looked like they were like falling off my arms. Um, so there wasn't much I could do. Uh, and as I'm laying there, eventually I just start laying there. I can't really move at all. And he just keeps hitting me. And this man yells out to him. He's on the phone, and he stops hitting me and he goes and walks off and takes off towards that guy. And then a bunch of people from around who saw what happened came over and uh, tied me up and tied up on my wounds and stuff and talked me through it until the ambulance came. And they came really quick, maybe like 10 minutes ish. I couldn't really tell the time. Um, and from there, it was just they sent me straight to the hospital, got me all bandaged up, and put me in surgery maybe an hour or so later. And then,
You were in surgery like 4 hours.
yeah. Um, and then after that, it's been pretty easy. It hasn't been too bad.
Talk a little bit about your injuries. What have doctors told you?
So, the worst injuries are in my arms. Um, the worst I have is my right arm, where one of the arteries and one of the nerves were severed, and a bunch of the tendons. So during the initial surgery, they kind of repaired one of the arteries. Um, but I have another surgery to go into on Friday to see what they can do for the nerve and the tendons. And then in my left hand, a bunch of the bones on the tips of those fingers have been shattered. So they need to go in and put like these metal pins inside my hand to keep the bones in place so they can heal. Um, so most of that stuff will happen on Friday when I have another surgery. And then I have a skull fracture because he hit me in the head maybe 3 different times. But it didn't cause any brain damage. Um, and I have some injuries to my legs, but they aren't too bad. Um, and the my back, when he hit my back, if I had been wearing a big leather jacket at the time, and if I hadn't, it likely would have gone into my spine. But uh, in a lot of different ways, I got really lucky with how everything played out.
Moving forward, talk a little bit about, folks have started a GoFundMe. I'm sure a gazillion people have reached out to you. What has that been like?
It's been almost overwhelming just how much support. I mean, it was kind of immediate, even as the man was walking away and people started surrounding me and trying to help me. Just ever since the attack, I felt nothing but so much love and community from people. Um, it's really easy to feel kind of alone. But when something like this happens, so many people from all over the place, people that I barely even know, come together uh, to help to help me. Um, and it feels very warm, feels very nice. Just to have all these people to rely on who can support me.
Walk me through, I'm sure you did not expect anything like this to happen to you. Walk me through what was going on in your head, kind of initially, and then sort of as you're laying there and folks are rushing up to you. Walk me through that.
Well, at first I thought maybe he, was confusing me for somebody else. Um, Maybe, there was some misunderstanding. Your first thought isn't I'm getting attacked by a guy with a machete for no reason, right? I assumed that, maybe he mistaked me for somebody else. But as the attack went on, uh, I I was asking him like, why are you doing this? Um, what did I do? Why are you doing this? And the whole time he didn't say anything. He didn't speak a single word. He didn't make a face. He was like blank faced the whole time. The most communication I got out of him was when I was on the ground and I held my hand up and I was just asking, kind of pleading, like, why are you doing this? What did I do? And he pauses for a second and then he just goes back to swinging at me. And it was at that point when I thought, you know, like there isn't any hope, I guess. I just thought at that point that I was just going to die. Um, but I didn't, and I got really lucky. Even when he had walked away to chase the other man and I was laying there on the ground, there was just so much blood everywhere. I was pretty confident that I was not going to survive. But the people around all came to me and tied up my wounds, and they, talked me through it as the ambulance was coming here and kept me calm and awake. And they really helped me not feel so worried about it. And as I got into the ambulance and into the hospital, gradually started feeling like, oh, I might survive. And it turned out, uh, the injuries were not as bad as I thought they were going to be. I turned out to get really lucky.
How is this going to change your life moving forward?
Well, um, depending on how well they can repair the nerve in my right arm, I might have a lot of trouble uh, moving my fingers and stuff in my right arm and using that hand and feeling sensation there. Um, so we won't know fully until the surgery on Friday, but at least for the next couple of months, I'm not going to be able to use my hands in any normal capacity. So, I'm a college student living alone, or living with a roommate, just working most of the time to pay my rent. So it was obviously pretty worrying at first to hear that, thinking I'm not going to be able to work to pay for the medical bills or my rent or anything. But people have come together and um, given me so much more than I ever thought possible. Uh, and it's heartwarming.
Tell me why you wanted to talk to us, what you want people to know about your story.
I think it's important to show that even when there is a person who is capable of so much evil, that there are hundreds more good people for every person like that who will be there to help and support even people that they don't know. Um, I think that I'm very surprised by how well everything has turned out, um, by how lucky I got with all of my injuries. Um, and I think it's, despite it being a really difficult and scary situation, for me, it's also very hopeful. It's almost pretty in a way, just how much support and help and love I've gotten from so many different people.
How old are you?
19.
You're a very well-spoken 19-year-old.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Sure. Well, is there anything else that you wanted to say or wanted to add?
Um, I would like to thank all of the people who were there.
Mr. Curtin.
Mr. Curtin was the man who asked or yelled out to the guy who was attacking me, and got saved my life and got him to get away from me. And then after, all the people there who came and rushed to my side and tied tourniquets and stopped the bleeding and talked me through it, was really, really helpful. More than they can know. I was so it was terrifying, but those people really, really helped me, and I owe them my life. I can't thank them enough for that. Um, and I think it's important that people know uh, that, like, I never thought that this would happen to me, right? Nobody ever thinks that this kind of thing can happen to you. Um, but it can happen to anyone. And I think it's important that we focus on getting uh, like mental care to the kinds of people who would do these sorts of things. This wouldn't have happened if that man had help. Something caused him to do this. Um, I have no idea what, but people don't come out of the womb like that, right? So I think it's important that we maybe focus some more resources on trying to get help for these people so that they're not out here hurting more people like this. Because the more it happens, some people aren't going to be as lucky as me, and it would be a really, really scary way to die.